Good afternoon, folks, and this is a rare privilege. I'm up with John, and he's called John Coulter, and he's living off the Duke Road. And John is a right old age. Tell the folks when you were born, John.
9th of June 1928.
9th of June 1928. And you actually must be the oldest person I have ever interviewed. The oldest. So you're coming 96 in a week or two.
And yeah.
Well, many happy returns. I should have brought you a present, but I'm very mean. But this is marvellous, John, that you're letting me have a wee chat with you. Where were you born?
Belfast, Shore Road.
Right. And any street?
Ritchie Street.
Ritchie. Spelt R-I-C-H-I-E.
R-I-T-C-H-I-E.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
It is still there. My goodness. And you were showing me, if I could, can I video you and your wife?
Yeah.
A good man. You were showing me you and the wife, and this is you on your wedding day.
1956.
1956. So your lady wife passed away
8 years ago.
8 years ago, and so she's left you, and you're 90, coming 96. What age was she?
93. She would have been 93 now.
And you were still living together in this?
Oh yeah,
this
59
house?
years together.
Right, 59 years. And when did you come up to this house?
Oh, 30 years ago.
30 years ago. So you're reasonably well known in the area.
Yeah.
And you've two sons, and you've two or three. You've quite a number of grandchildren.
Yeah.
And you've got great grandchildren.
Yeah.
My goodness. So one of your sons is in Australia.
Yeah.
And one of them lives at Ballyclare.
Yeah.
Dead on. Right, John. What school did you go to?
Mariners.
Mariners Primary School.
Yeah. Mariners.
Mariners, as spelt in a Seaman, right? And I mean, it's not there.
No.
It's
long gone.
Long gone. And so you would have gone to school until what? You were 14?
Yeah, 14.
14. No secondary schools in those days?
No.
No. So
what? In 30th of June 1942.
And you left school in 1942? Right. So you were too young to go into the forces?
Yeah.
Right. So what did you do?
I joined that tug you looked at.
Now, where's this tug again? A tug?
It was the Empire Meadow.
The Empire Meadow Tug.
Yeah.
Right. And so you were a young 15-year-old, wet behind the ears, and you were put on the tugs.
I got on the tug.
And how did that come about?
That chap you looked at wanted a relief one day, and he took me on.
The one in the picture?
Yeah.
Now, where's that picture again? Could I, you wouldn't mind? Oh, well, there we go. Stand at your... Right. This is great. See, it's good to have a pictorial record. Now, tell me who this man was again.
He was Captain Robert John Mahood.
Yes, and he was... what's the name of the man? I know. He's John Mahood as well.
He's Robert Mahood.
He's Robert Mahood. So this is his father.
Yeah.
And he took you on.
He did.
And he didn't know what he was taking on, did he?
He certainly did.
And this is the tugboat.
That was at Empire Meadow.
The Empire Meadow. And what was it? Coal-fired?
Yeah.
Coal-fired. So you had to hawk all the coal, and there had to be a couple of boys shoveling coal all the time down in the... But that would have been... So John Mahood and yourself, was there many years between you?
He was much older than me.
He was much older than you.
Oh, yeah.
So how many men were on the tugs?
7.
7 of you. Trying to work out with John what the hours and stuff were, and he tells me he was on every day. You'd get what? Were you 6 days on?
5.
5 days on. But sure, the boats still came in, the ships still came in on Saturday and Sunday.
Overtime.
So that would have been overtime. And did you do a lot of overtime then?
Yes.
Right. Now, and the other question is, you were on from 8 o'clock to 5. So what happened whenever a ship came in at 11?
You were right for it.
But you'd done your day's work.
Oh, no, you had. That was overtime.
So so you quit at 5 and went home for your tea.
And come back again at 10.
So they told you that there was another clatter of ships coming in.
Yes, I did. At 5 o'clock I told you that.
But you could have been working all hours of the day.
You could. Well, if you went to Dublin or Cork or anywhere, you're on 24 hours a day.
Now, what's this about Dublin or Cork? You're telling me that the tug went down there?
Oh yes, on to Cork, Dublin.
Oh, you see, I was under the impression that tug would be tied to Belfast.
No.
My goodness gracious, that was a long old...
Went to Londonderry, up the Clyde, down south.
So you would be called in wherever you would be needed?
Yeah.
But what happened whenever you were away down in Dublin or Cork or on the Clyde and ships were still coming in?
There's 3 other tugs there.
The other tugs. How many tugs did Belfast normally have at that time?
Used to be 4.
4, right. My goodness. Right. But then there wasn't as... I'm saying, was there as many ships back then?
There was.
There would have been, because they carried smaller cargoes.
And they did a lot of work in the shipyard.
That's right. So, now, let's get the date whenever you started. So, you were born in 1928 and you started work at 15. So, you started in 1942 at the tugs.
Yeah.
That's in the middle of the war.
Yeah.
So,
I was only relieving.
Right. You must have seen the Blitz.
Oh yes, I did.
Were you actually on the water whenever the...
No.
It was overnight that it happened?
Yeah.
Right. And what were they after? Were they after the yard, the shipyard?
Pardon?
They were after the shipyard,
Yeah.
but they were also after... there was an awful lot of... There was tanks being built in around Belfast. Yeah. And some people say that they were actually out after the waterworks as well.
They were after the shipyard primarily. That was
primarily.
Yes.
But they more or less missed the shipyard, didn't they? But they hit all the housing.
Yeah.
So you must have known people who were killed.
Oh, probably did.
Did the bombs come anywhere near? The bombs hit the shore road.
They did, yes.
Were you in the shelter at the time, or?
We had a shelter outside the door.
An old Anderson shelter.
Yeah.
But sure, it wouldn't have saved that.
It wouldn't.
It was useless. People thought they were safe, and even in a block shelter, you know, if one of those things went off on top of you, you had no chance. No chance whatsoever. My goodness gracious. You being on the tugs, John, you must have seen destroyers and navy boats all coming in for shelter.
Oh, yes.
In fact, you must have seen boats in Belfast shipyard being built as well.
Huge aircraft carrier Eagle was one of them.
Wow. I wasn't sure about this. So you, with your own eyes, saw the Eagle being built and launched?
Yeah.
Wow.
I attended the launch.
Sorry?
Attended the launch.
Did it? Oh my goodness gracious.
Four tugs.
4 tugs pulled the Eagle out. That must have been one of your biggest ships at that time.
Oh, was it? Will be.
Now, here's another one for you. A good friend of mine mentioned that he heard a rumour, and you can tell me whether this is true, that the HMS Hood was in Belfast Harbour at one stage.
I never remember.
You don't remember that? But you saw the Eagle. And there must have been, what, was the HMS Belfast, was that too young for it? Was it late?
No, it was built in 44.
44, so you saw it as well?
Oh yeah, I saw it.
And any other big warships that we should know about?
No, not really.
Was there submarines and all came in too?
None built here.
None built here, but they would have come in.
Yeah.
They would have come in for stores and rations and stuff, and to be filled up with diesel or whatever they worked on. So you saw all manner of boats, but an awful lot of the boats would have been still under sail at that stage, would they?
No.
No, the sailing boats had gone maybe, 20, 30 years earlier, right? So it was all coal-fired, engines back in that stage. Steam, my goodness. And so you were still there. You were about the yard whenever the yard was at its height almost.
Was.
And then after the war, there must have been a few notable ships. Were you there when the Canberra was built?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
1960.
That would have been the one I would remember. It was a massive big cruise ship.
She's scrapped now.
She's scrapped, which was a shame. It was a shame that these and the Eagle and all that. I wonder what happened to the Eagle.
Scrapped.
It was scrapped as well. I mean, if they could only have preserved some of these. The HMS Belfast is in London docks.
Yes,
it's still there. And whenever I go down, walking around the harbour area, the pneumatics still there. That was the tender for the Titanic.
That's correct.
It's there, but it's all refurbished. And the HMS Caroline, I don't know whether the HMS Caroline was actually built in Belfast.
No.
I thought not. No, it wasn't. So they might try and take her off us. But if they take the Caroline off us, they should be giving us the HMS Belfast in return, because
it's too hard to keep.
They are hard to keep. You never spoke a truer word, So was
because the HMS Belfast would not go where the Caroline is.
No, they wouldn't be enough room.
No.
It'd be too big. Well, so then was the Princess Victoria, was it built in Belfast? No, but you remember
the Clyde.
It was built in the Clyde, but you remember the sinking and all the rest of it.
Oh yeah.
John was giving me or showing me this leaflet here, and it's all got plastic over it, and this is him with at a memorial of the Princess Victoria, which went down. It was a roll-off ferry, and it was one of the first of its kind to ply the route from Belfast to Launceston, stupid me. It was one of the first ones to ply that route, and
Princess Victoria and Princess Margaret.
And whatever went wrong,
Princess Maud,
right? So there were triplicate, and whatever went wrong, the door burst open, one of the bow doors, and it was a rough crossing.
It was very bad.
Very bad. They possibly shouldn't have
gone out.
Shouldn't have gone out. So this is the memorial to that. There we go. And this is the man. You've got a wheen of medals there, Johan. I'm just looking at them. And what would those medals have been for? You know.
The tug was owned by the Admiralty.
So it was a Navy tug?
Aye, under the Ministry of War Transport.
Right.
She was built for the Navy, MOWC.
Right. So you got, what, naval decorations?
Those are war medals.
Right. But you weren't a soldier as such.
No.
See, I'm a bit stupid, John, you know.
No, they're the same as the army gets. They're all the same.
Right, okay. I'll get this back over to you.
I'll tell you, did you see that chap, your friend, his dad?
Yes, that's that Robert Mahood's father.
Yeah, he served all during the war.
Yes.
And he spent 5 months at Normandy.
Right.
And France during the war,
right.
Landings.
So he was sort of trying to help the boys get off onto the shore.
Yeah.
Right.
And 2 ships right and in.
Right.
And he asked Robert what medals he got. He said he got none. None of the crew got any.
None.
So I wrote to my man, and my man took it up, and I can show you a letter somewhere.
Yes.
The gentleman that took it up was a retired High Court judge in London.
Yes.
He says, "Don't thank me," he says. "The person who got you your medals was His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh."
Oh, right.
And he got them for Robert's dad as well.
Right. And there'd been a mistake, or they just hadn't...
No record of either of us.
Right. Okay. But you can see how easily the records would have been lost and all the rest of it.
They said there's no record of it.
Right, okay. But, right, just on a different tack here, John. You're coming 96. What's the secret of long health?
I don't know.
Longevity.
I haven't a clue.
You haven't a clue. You didn't do anything special.
No.
So if I behave myself, I could be here at 95 or 6 too.
Well, I hard worked all my days.
So it never did you any harm?
Done me no harm.
No.
I didn't retire till I was 86.
You are joking. Were you out in the boats in your 80s?
I saw a small tug myself, and I finished in the harbour on the 30th of June 1982. The 4th of July, I took my tug from Carrickfergus up to Londonderry.
Right.
And I spent 9 months up there at the construction of the Foyle Bridge.
Right.
And went from there, at the request of the harbour master, to Greencastle to tow the barges for him out to the dump. I spent 4 months there.
My goodness.
Then I came back and worked at Carrickfergus for a while, and Belfast for a while. 86, I thought that was enough.
Right, my goodness gracious. You weren't involved, and this is a long shot. You know, whenever the German U-boats surrendered,
yeah,
that was up at Londonderry.
Yeah, that's the Halley.
And those boats, one of them should have been kept for historical purposes, but none of them were kept. and they were all towed out off the coast of Donegal and scuttled.
Oh, finished your own head.
You had nothing to do with that, no?
That man you're looking at, the photograph in the uniform, he took every one of them out.
Boys, oh. Boys, oh.
He towed every one of them out.
He towed it. He's the
He towed them out for junk.
John Mahood was the man.
Robert John.
Robert John. Dear, dear. My goodness gracious. My goodness gracious. My God. You are living history here, because you knocked about with boys who did interesting things, and you did interesting things yourself. So, right. So you saw the Blitz, and did you come down the road that morning? And how were the buildings still on fire, or were they smoking?
Yes, they were.
They were smoking and on fire, and the brigades were all out, and it was just a scene of.
Was dead.
It was a scene of devastation.
Yeah.
And there were. I'll not go into the details or anything like that, but it must have been horrific.
It was that.
You must have thought you were looking at a picture of hell.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what you're looking at.
But everybody just got on with it.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was nothing else for it.
They went on as usual.
Life went on, and you tried to clear up and do as best you could.
That's all you could.
That's right. So the end of the war, you weren't involved in the D-Day coming out, because all of the boats for D-Day, they started off, as far as I know, at the Eisenhower Pier in Bangor. You didn't go over there, and
no, you weren't out in that.
Right, they were all the American vessels that had come into the war as well.
Yeah, they were all there.
Right.
See, during the war, any convoys that were bound from north of Ireland or Northern Ireland or
yes,
say, if they were bound to, say, the Mediterranean area, they had to form a convoy in Bangor Bay.
That's right.
And maybe 8 or 10 of them would congregate there at anchor.
That's right. That's right. That's right. My goodness gracious. My goodness. So 1945, the war ended, and that was what, VE Day.
Mm-hmm.
And you were at the celebrations to that, I suppose.
I was indeed.
Were you? was that in round the City Hall, or?
No, Belmore grounds.
Belmore.
Belmore. What do you call it? What do you call the city grounds?
Balmoral.
Balmoral.
Right.
That was VE Day.
Right, okay.
I took part in that.
My goodness. So there must have been general rejoicing.
Oh, yeah.
And the bells would have been pealing and all, and
yes,
people out in the street tall hours. And
oh, yeah.
my goodness gracious. So, you're a reasonably well-travelled boyo with the boats. You could have ended up, as you say, over on the Clyde or down in Cork. Did you ever go to the likes of Liverpool?
Oh, yes, many times.
You went over to Liverpool too, or the Isle of Man?
Isle of Man, yes.
My goodness gracious.
Went to the Caribbean, went to New York.
Oh my goodness, hold on a wee minute now. What were you in the Caribbean doing?
Joined the tanker in Belfast. I went to sea after the tubs, you see.
Right, hold on now. You've lost me. So, you came off the tugs in 1945?
44.
44, and you went into the Merchant Navy onto a tanker.
Yes.
Right. So,
Out in Belfast.
what was the name of the tanker?
Patella.
But the war hadn't quit by that stage. That was 1944.
Yeah, I had to wait till I was 16.
Right.
As soon as a month after I was 16, I was away.
But was your mum and dad not frightened for you because the German U-boats were still operating?
They didn't want me to go, but
You're headstrong.
Oh, very headstrong.
Right. So off you went on this vessel, the what? Patella, off to the Caribbean. And what were you going there for?
Well, first of all, to the new ship.
Right.
We moved round to the Pollock dock and loaded 12,000 tonne of fresh water.
Right.
And took it to Curacao in the West Indies.
Right.
Discharged that and then loaded oil.
Right. You were taking oil from the West End, no, from the west of Africa.
No, the West Indies.
The West Indies.
Curacao.
Right. Okay.
Up to New York.
So that oil was brought to New York. Why did you carry the water? What was that about?
Well, they couldn't get water in the Caribbean, in Curacao. Couldn't get water.
Couldn't get water?
No. We took 12,000 tonne of fresh water out.
Right. And that was for drinking, like?
Oh, yes.
Right. And is that port still there today, or?
Oh, the port?
The Curacao.
Yes, very much so.
Uh-huh. So you went to...
Curacao.
Right. So you went to the Caribbean and you were 16 and you must have been, you were just...
I've been in smaller ships before that.
Right. You must have been just a young fella.
Yeah.
And as you approached the Caribbean islands, the temperature must have gone through the roof.
It was worse up in the Persian Gulf.
Now hold on a wee minute now, we're jumping here. So after the Caribbean, where else did you go?
Well, I left the ship in Curacao and joined a Northo ship. Went to Rotterdam.
Right.
And came off it. Home for 5 days. Went to Dublin and joined another one. Tanker. I went to the Persian Gulf.
Right.
It was 120 degrees in the shade.
You'd get a suntan in half a second.
You certainly would that.
I suppose were you warned about
No.
No warning, no sun cream, no nothing.
No.
Oh dear, oh. But you were hard to pin down then.
Very hard.
Because you were jumping about from ship to ship all over the place. Some people might say, was he trying to escape the law?
No. No, none of that.
None of that, but was it just because that...
Change the job, change the scenery.
So that job, once you got to New York or wherever, that was your job done. So you needed another job, so you went down to the harbour and said, is anybody taking on crew?
No, I left the ship in Curacao and got another one down there.
Right, okay.
Found another ship in Curacao.
Right, and did you have any kind of qualification or anything?
No, just a qualified seaman.
Right, okay. So you would have had papers and all with you?
Oh, yeah.
Right, so you just weren't any old buddy?
No, you're a naval seaman.
Right, okay. My goodness gracious.
You're a junior ordinary seaman, needy yet, a fishing deckhand, and then an AB.
You see, I'm wondering, so you were studying at the same time as you were on the tugs?
After I left the tugs, yes.
Right, and to get navigational qualifications?
No,
or
you don't have.
You didn't need them?
No, that rank you didn't need them.
Right, okay. But the upper ranks you would have needed them?
Further up, yes.
So, yes, this is quite a nomadic life that you were living. Jumping off one ship onto another ship.
Oh, yeah.
And you must have been away for months on end from Belfast.
Sometimes, yes.
So you would have sent letters and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Home. Did you miss any? You must have missed birthdays and
No.
all sorts of
There's
things.
no such a thing as birthdays and that.
No such a thing.
No.
They weren't really thought of.
No.
See, it was my father and mother wouldn't have been big on birthdays either.
They never.
It was all of this came in whenever the people wanted to make money. So they put a anniversary for this and a birthday for that. We never celebrated birthdays.
No.
But if you told that to the young ones today, they would be up in arms, you know.
Yeah.
So we've got you've done the tugs and you come through the Blitz and you're roaming around all parts of the globe, the Caribbean and Persian Gulf and all. You must have mixed with some numbers and some nationalities of other men.
Yes.
They were from all over the place.
All over.
Portuguese and Singapore and Brazil and all the rest of them.
They meet them from everywhere.
Were there a lot of ones from Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland on the boats?
Not a lot of them.
Not a lot of them.
No.
So I suppose you were called Paddy.
Paddy.
Paddy this and Paddy that.
That's all you were.
That's what you were. And they didn't care what foot you kicked with or anything else.
No.
Oh dear, oh. Right, so that takes us up to what? The early 1950s?
Yeah.
Right. So that you carried on doing that. Were you still moving about from ship to ship, or did you come home and settle?
No, I come home and that gentleman you saw there.
That's your son?
He was at home.
Yes.
And he asked me to come for 10 days. Yeah, but that lasted for 6 years.
So that was what was his name?
Robert John.
Robert John. He picked up on it that you were home, and he says he's a good man, and we want him back again.
Yeah.
So you're back on the boats again, the tugs,
again.
Right? Okay, and you stuck at that for
6 years.
6 years, and what happened after that?
I was at a meeting one day and his chief engineer and the mate were both retiring after 45 years.
Right.
And they're getting a big pension of £5 a week.
£5 a week? My goodness.
And I thought to myself, John, that's not for you. So in 1953 I applied to join the Harbour Police.
Right. So this was another departure, really.
And in 1954 I was accepted.
There couldn't have been too many harbour police back then.
142.
Well, that's a fair. I think the numbers are much the same today.
No, there's only 38 today.
Only 30. Boy, you know your stuff, boy. Good man. Right. So there was was there a bigger need for them back then, or?
Well, you think of it. There was 44,000 men in the shipyard.
Right.
There's 20-odd thousand in the aircraft factory.
Right.
The oil companies, the coal companies.
Right. All employing men.
All employing men.
So there was a lot of coming and going.
Oh, very much so.
And there would have been a lot of boys who had a deep pocket and shifty hands.
Very much so.
So it was your job to try and put to put a lid on that.
Mm-hmm.
So how many years were you in the Harbour Police?
Just on 29.
29 years. You see, I didn't know about this. You being in the Harbour Police. It's a fascinating job, and you being associated with the boats, you had a deeper insight than most of the rest of the.
Yeah.
You knew where the secret places on a boat and all the rest of it was.
That was confirmed when I was appointed. I had to appear in front of the Chief Constable for approval.
Right.
And he said, before going any further, John, you are under our prescribed height. You're only 5'11" and 3/4.
Only 5'11" and 3/4. You see, I knew you were quite tall.
He says you had to be 6 foot. Well, he said, on account of your knowledge of boats and harbours.
And channels and all the rest of it.
He says, we'll have you then.
Right, okay.
When he started.
Did you have to go out on a boat? I don't know if the police would have had any boats back then. They do now.
Oh, they do.
So they had boats then. Would you have had to go out and check for contraband and stuff?
I drove one of them for 7 years.
So you went out on the police boat?
Yeah.
Right. And was it a coal-fired boat or a steamboat?
Oh, no, motor.
Motorboat. The motorboats had come in, in the mid-50s or early 50s?
The one we had was small, only 30 feet.
Right. And were you armed at that stage?
Yes, always.
Aye, because if something kicked off, you would need to have defence.
We both had either a revolver and a machine gun.
I didn't know that now.
We always had.
Would that have been a Sterling? A Sterling machine gun?
Sten gun.
A Sten gun, right, okay. My goodness gracious. And did you come across any shady boys?
We always do that.
What would they have been trying to do? Was there any smuggling going on?
Oh, 100%.
So it was alcohol and cigarettes, I suppose?
Yeah.
Right.
Mostly that. There was no drugs then.
No drugs.
Cigarettes and alcohol.
And they would have brought these in, from
Anywhere in the world.
Europe, I suppose. And they would probably use Belfast as a launch and off base or something.
Oh, yes, yes.
Right. My goodness gracious. So you saw a bit of action. Did you arrest a few boys?
Oh, yes, you do.
And you had to, I'm sure you had your fair number of instances where crew members got a bit jolly and got a bit full with the old alcohol.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you had that.
So you were breaking up fights and things as well.
Right, but there's one thing you always thought back. I was a seaman. He's a seaman. We'll give him we'll lead him back to the ship and put him aboard.
And don't make life hard for him.
No.
A wee bit of compassion there.
Much so.
So you would have been... Was Sailortown part of Belfast Harbour?
That's where I lived.
You lived in Sailortown?
Earl Street.
Is it still there?
I don't think so.
You see, the M3 came through there and just destroyed it. But the is it St Matthew's Catholic Church is still there?
It's not in Sailortown.
It's not in Sailortown.
No, the one you're talking about is St Peter's.
Stupid me. So it's still there. And
it's not a church, but...
No, they closed it. And the people...
Community centre.
That is right. Well, you know your stuff. You've been keeping your eye on the ball, so yeah. So you were in round Sailor... somebody told me that Frank Carson was born in Sailortown as well.
He was, yes.
Sailortown...
That's the way I tell them.
That's right. I have very old Frank's grave up in... he's up in Milltown Cemetery.
Yeah.
So I've very old him.
Well, when the war started and he came back again, he wasn't too popular because
he joined
the parachute regiment.
Yes, he joined the parachute regiment. He's the only member of the parachute regiment lying in Milltown Cemetery, as far as I know. Although there's other British servicemen and Polish servicemen in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My goodness gracious.
Oh, Frank, aye.
But so you would have been in round. Was the Rotterdam bar still about?
The Rotterdam bar, yeah.
And the American bar.
And the American bar.
And what there was another one or two that I can't remember. So those would have been on your beat, so to speak.
Oh, yes, they were, yeah.
My goodness, boys. Boy, I'm sure you could tell some stories.
Another guy lived beside Frank Carson was Renty Monaghan.
The boxer.
He lived beside him.
My goodness. There's a statue up for him, a statue of him up in, up the Falls Road, the Falls Road Park. I can't remember the name of the park.
Dunville Park.
Dunville Park. Hey, John, you are so sharp. How do you remember these things? Because I have talked to people in their 80s, and between you and me and the garden fence, they're doting. You know.
Well, I'm far from that.
But you're far from doting, boy. You're keeping me right. I'm the doting one. My goodness gracious. My goodness. Oh, dear. So, tell us this. You met your wife. Where did you meet your wife, and what year was it?
1955.
You met your wife in 55.
Dance club.
Now, where would that have been?
John Coulter.
The dance club. Where in
the corner beside the Albert Clock.
Beside the Albert Clock. So
Albert White.
Right. So would you have ever gone up to the floral hall?
Pardon?
The floral hall.
Never went there.
Never went there. It was quite famous for the dancing as well. So you met your wife down beside the Albert Clock in this dance club.
Yeah,
and
Albert White's ballroom.
Albert White's ballroom, and you hit it off, or did she say, "Go away"? What?
Oh no, just it wasn't. At the start, it wasn't much. It just hello, goodbye.
I know, but how did you learn to dance, John? How did you learn to dance?
I was fortunate. I was born with 2 left feet.
But 2 left feet would have meant you couldn't dance.
Correct.
See, I can't dance. I'm stupid. But why would you want to go with you if you couldn't dance?
Well, I couldn't, and she couldn't.
So you are partners in crime.
We were exactly that.
And where did she live?
Salisbury Street in Dublin Road.
On the Dublin Road. And so that was in 55, and
56 we were married.
And 56 you were married. You were married, as you told me, in Sinclair Seaman's Presbyterian Church, the fisherman and the seaman's church. And I have been in it, and it's a fascinating place. It's only open some days of the week.
Wednesday only.
Oh boy, so you're stealing my thunder here, John. That is absolutely correct. It's only open on Wednesdays.
Afternoon.
That is right. Oh my goodness gracious! I suppose you're not really fit enough to get out round anywhere anymore.
Well, I was all right until I fell earlier this year.
Right.
And damaged my hip, and I haven't been right since.
Right. Are they talking about a hip replacement?
No, I had that.
You had that already. Was it the same hip that you got replaced?
Yeah, oh yes.
So you damaged the replacement?
No, I damaged my hip.
Right.
And they put a replacement in.
Oh, right. So, how's the walking now? You see you're on the Zimmer thing.
No, walking aid.
Walking aid, I don't know the difference. I haven't a clue. So, you can get from A to B, basically, in the house.
That's all I wanted it for.
Aye, that's right.
But I'm due to go out walking in the street some of these days.
Well, I would leave it, John, maybe to the warmer weather.
Oh, I'll go out tonight if they ask them to come here to take me, I'll take it.
Oh, right.
Oh, I'll go.
Good man. But you're...
If I can get out and get on my feet.
Yes.
And satisfy myself.
Yes. You're game for it.
The next thing is, the booking office a ticket for Australia.
You would go?
100%.
Well,
but I just said I'd go tonight, never mind tomorrow.
Well, my goodness, boy. Aren't you the one, boy? Good for you. Brilliant. You're not dead yet.
No.
Long.
Far from it.
Far from it. My goodness gracious. Oh, dear. I'm sure we've missed an awful lot, but your carers are going to be coming in very shortly.
I learned about Polish.
So we'll maybe knock it on the head for now, and we'll come back to you. Have I missed anything? You went on, as we say, with your lady wife died 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Right? And she was 90...
She would have been, she was 85 then.
She was 85 whenever she died. And where I'm just going to ask you this, John, and I hope it doesn't upset or anything. Where's she buried?
She was cremated and her ashes were dumped behind me.
She was cremated, and right, and her ashes were
Cremated there in the Black Arch.
Right.
That's on the coast road.
That is, of course it is.
Yeah.
And this must have been a favourite spot.
That was a very favourite spot, and that's where she demanded when she was cremated. Her ashes be dumped there.
My goodness gracious. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And somebody was kind enough to do you a painting of that.
I bought that in auction some time ago.
Uh-huh.
And why I bought it, I don't know, but it turned out very good.
Yes, yes.
I know where it is, I know what's at it.
And you know what's at it.
And I have arranged for me to go there too.
My goodness. My goodness. So that you'll be together again.
Correct.
Boy, so. Now, let's go over this again. You've got 2 sons, and how many grandchildren have you got?
2 here, 6 in Australia, 8.
So there's 8. And how many great grandchildren?
4.
4. My goodness gracious. And you'd go to Australia tomorrow.
Exactly.
Well, listen, John, I'm gonna close, and no doubt I'll hear from you again, or you'll hear from me again, and we'll have a wee bit more crack.